Kane Vision welcomes in John Barfeld, who is the head softball coach at the University of Tulsa. And, early in the year, we always talk about, you guys are traveling all over the place and you're playing a lot of games in these tournaments. You're also, these last couple of weeks, you've had midweek away games. And then, of course, you sandwich that with the East Carolina series, which was very successful for you. So it's been kind of a traveling show lately for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I just, am so thankful for our players that you don't hear one complaint out of them. But if you think about, just for the general fan, what they've gone through since last Wednesday when we leave at 11 o'clock to drive over to Missouri State, and us coaches are driving because the bus company's costs have outgrown our budget, and so we're driving them over there, and then we get back, close to midnight, and then we have to leave for East Carolina the next morning. Well, that's at 5:30. And so they get very little sleep there. They're washing some of their clothes. And just to give you an idea of what our girls are like, they didn't want to make the guy who usually washes their game stuff, they didn't want to make him have to come in after midnight and do it. And they said, no, we'll do it. Tell him he doesn't need to come in, So, of course, then East Carolina is one of the toughest trips. Not only do you fly all day, but then you got another 2 hours to drive, to get to Greenville, North Carolina. And so, we play that away series, and we win that series again, and then of course you got that trip coming back on Sunday, but then you get delays. So now you get back at 1:30 in the morning on Monday morning, and and so now they're using Monday to catch up on 3 days of classwork they've missed, and
And then on Tuesday you're headed to Stillwater.
And you've got to play them without having to practice. And that's never a good thing. If it was, the Major League Baseball players wouldn't play 6 out of every 7 days.
Right.
In our sport, it's, and as a coach, you're trying to decide, okay, what's better, to practice or get out there and face live pitching? And I've always felt like facing live pitching whenever you can is best. And so it's just been a tough week for them. Great atmosphere last night. Obviously, you could see right from the get-go we were struggling a little bit, but we were hanging in there with them. And I needed to throw all 3 pitchers because we've got a very important series coming up on Thursday. And so, even though Shanice had only given up 1 run, she's up over 80 pitches. And with a Thursday early start for our conference weekend series, there's just, a lot of things go into the decision of what you need to do. And when you schedule things before your travel arrangements come out.
Right.
And so you just didn't foresee this coming. But I just want to commend the players on what they went through, this week, and then top it off into the semester.
Right. Finals coming up.
Finals are coming up, projects due, they're missing a lot of class in that time. So it was a tough week for us. And as coaches, you don't like to make excuses, but at the same time, you want people to understand that, hey, maybe this is why we weren't at the top of our game at sometimes.
Well, and OSU obviously has gotten better as well. They're in the top 20 now. You beat them earlier this year at home 3-0. You lose 5-0 on Tuesday night. So you come off of that. You got 1 day now to get ready for the big series against UCF.
Right.
And that's moved up because of the Easter weekend.
Right.
So you have Thursday at 6, and then Friday at 4, and then Saturday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a big series for your team and as far as the league is concerned, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And they've got, one of the best pitchers in the conference. And she beat us twice last year. And so that's a pitcher we need to figure out how to solve. And, we've done that with some of the other better pitchers in the conference, and we just got to figure out how to make adjustments with her and attacking her this weekend.
And certainly 3 games in 3 days is the normal thing in the league. You have done a very nice job of at least winning 2 out of 3 in most of these series, and you've also had a sweep.
Yeah, we're the only team in the conference that's won every series, and so we haven't been the ones that have swept the most. South Florida probably has that, but we've won every series, and that's kind of the goal that we go into each series with. We figure if that's our goal and we accomplish that, then at the end of the year we're going to be at least in the conversation or competing for that top spot, and so that's what we're looking for.
And you talk an awful lot about Julia Hollingsworth and what she's meant for the program. She's down the backstretch of her senior year. She's been spectacular hitting-wise this year. It's you thought maybe she couldn't improve. She's gotten better.
Yeah, it's gotten better and battled injuries and got hurt again last night. And so we'll see if she's even available with her knee going forward. But just, has lost some games, got hit with a foul ball, in the collarbone and knocked her out for a few games, and she's just battled a knee, for most of the year. But she's just a gamer. She wants to play. She wants to soak up every last bit of her senior year, and you're right. She's showing up on the record books in a number of different categories.
Yeah, and one of those players that has kind of been a tweener, not a great power hitter, good speed, good base runner. It just does so many things for you and will turn out to be one of the best overall players you've ever had.
Oh, definitely. She just somebody who was always a leadoff person throughout her career. I think I've told this story before. It was either a high school coach or travel ball coach would not let her swing, made her slap the entire season. And when she came here, she's actually got really outstanding power, but she stays on top half of the ball an awful lot, and that's why she gets a lot of hits. And then she's got the speed. If she does miss hit one, she can beat it out. And so, she's just a complete player. She threw a girl out at the plate last night, so she's a very accurate thrower from the outfield. And, of course, has the speed to run down balls as well.
All right, pitching staff. Is it starting to round into shape? The numbers look like they're coming down. Shanice Dels obviously has the best ERA of the three, but Samantha Pokop and Cassidy Scott, they're getting better as well, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. And, in the conference, they've been really good. And that's why when I've gone into these midweeks in the past, it's always like, okay, you got one pitcher that can beat this team or hold this team. And I've been really experimenting with trying to throw all three for a couple of different reasons. One, I want to keep them, fresh. And so, last night was kind of a planned time to take Shanice out. It didn't work out. They ended up scoring 2 runs off each of those other 2 pitchers. But I knew going through this conference season, I wanted to see each of my pitchers against the conference teams. And that tells me who's the best matchup when it comes time maybe at the end of the year. And I think they've pitched well enough, all 3 of them, to deserve that time. The other thing is, if you're fortunate enough to make it into a regional, I've learned from having Emily the last couple of years that when you pitch one pitcher all the time and then you get a regional and all of a sudden you need other pitching,
right,
they're not sharp because they haven't pitched
right
in live situations. And so I knew because we had a staff this year that can compete against a lot of the different teams that we needed to use them.
So 2 big weekends at home, thank goodness,
Yeah.
for Coach and for the team and for academics and all of that. But 2 straight weekends at home, and this one starts because of the Easter weekend on Thursday with the 6 o'clock game against UCF. Also, obviously, if weather things happen, just stay tuned to TulsaHurricane.com if there's any changes because it does get changed sometimes on the weather. But then don't forget the following weekend it's Wichita State, and that'll be a very important series as well as Tulsa will conclude their regular season home schedule with that series against Wichita State. So busy time. Good luck, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Bruce.
Head coach John Barfeld, right here on Cane Vision.